In a world of tennis royalty, where the courts gleamed with privilege and opportunity, one man's relentless pursuit of excellence shattered the stereotypes. Jim Courier wasn't born with the privilege of wealth or fame. He was born with something far more powerful, an unyielding work ethic, a fierce, competitive spirit, and a blue-collar mentality that made him a champion against all odds. From humble beginnings to dominating the sport, Courier's journey is the embodiment of hard work, resilience, and an unshakable belief in himself. This is the story of the tennis legend who battled his way to the very top. Let's dive into the life and career of Jim Courier, the blue-collar champion. Born in 1970 in Sanford, Florida, Jim Courier wasn't a child of privilege, but one of determination. Raised in a modest household, Jim's family didn't have the luxuries that many of his tennis peers enjoyed. Yet, from an early age, Courier's mother instilled in him the values of hard work and dedication. Jim was no stranger to sacrifice. His family made financial and personal sacrifices to support his tennis dreams. Courier's first lessons came not just in the tennis court, but in grit and resilience. The dream wasn't easy, and his path to greatness was never paved with gold. Courier faced the challenges of a small-town upbringing and limited resources. Tennis wasn't the popular sport in his neighborhood. Football and basketball were. But Jim saw in tennis not just a game, but a chance to prove himself, to fight for something more than what he was born into. Courier's breakthrough came when he made the decision to leave home at 14 and move to the tennis mecca of Florida. Without much of a financial safety net, Courier worked hard to refine his game at the prestigious Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy. It was here that his intense work ethic began to pay off, and his raw talent was honed into a championship-level force. But it wasn't just natural talent that set him apart, it was his relentless drive. At just 17, Courier turned professional, and his rise through the ranks of the ATP Tour was swift and steady. His blue-collar mentality didn't allow him to take any shortcuts. Unlike many of his peers, Courier focused on developing a physical, aggressive style of play, relying on his massive forehand and powerful serve to wear down opponents. He wasn't just playing tennis, he was fighting for every win. Jim Courier's tennis career reached new heights in 1991 when he won his first Grand Slam title at the French Open. Courier's victory didn't just mark a personal milestone, it signified the rise of a new, hard-hitting style in men's tennis. His aggressive baseline game, which combined powerful serves and punishing ground strokes, made him a formidable opponent on any surface. That same year, Courier went on to capture the Australian Open, marking his place as one of the best players of his generation. His back-to-back Grand Slam titles were a testament to his hard work, discipline, and commitment to constantly improving his game. Jim wasn't a player who waited for opportunities to come to him. He took them, with a competitive spirit that was relentless, unyielding, and blue-collar through and through. Jim Courier's career was defined by some intense rivalries that fueled his already intense competitive nature. On the ATP Tour, he faced off against some of the greatest players in history, Stefan Edberg, Boris Becker, and of course Pete Sampras. But it was his rivalry with Andre Agassi that truly stood out. Agassi, a player known for his flashy personality and unique playing style, was everything Courier wasn't. Where Agassi was stylish and magnetic, Courier was gritty, focused, and unrelenting. Yet it was precisely this contrast that made their rivalry so compelling. While Agassi dazzled with his skills, Courier brought a blue-collar, workmanlike attitude that pushed him to dig deep and grind out victories. This clash of styles created some of the most memorable moments in 90s tennis, with Courier emerging victorious more often than not in their encounters, showcasing his mental toughness and relentless drive. But perhaps the most iconic rivalry of Courier's career was against Pete Sampras. While Sampras may have had more natural talent and grace on the court, Courier's sheer hard work and determination often allowed him to rise to the occasion when it mattered most. Their battles were a contrast of styles, Sampras with his effortless serve and volley game, and Courier with his heavy, baseline-focused attack. Jim Courier's achievements speak volumes about his skill and work ethic. By the time his career reached its peak in the early 1990s, he had accumulated 4 Grand Slam titles, 2 French Open titles, 1991 and 1992, and 2 Australian Open titles, 1992 and 1993. He became the first player since Rod Laver to win back-to-back Grand Slam titles in the same year, a rare feat that proved his consistency and dominance. What made Courier's success even more remarkable was his ability to win on different surfaces. While clay was traditionally considered the most difficult surface to win on, Courier adapted his style to dominate the French Open, proving that his game wasn't one-dimensional. He was a complete player, capable of handling any challenge the sport threw at him. As dominant as Courier was in the early 90s, his career was not without setbacks. Injuries began to take their toll in the latter part of the decade, and his form began to dip. But Jim Courier's career was defined by resilience. The blue-collar champion didn't just give up when things got tough. He fought back. His determination to return to the top despite his injuries and the rise of younger stars was an inspiration to tennis fans everywhere. Courier's ability to bounce back, even after setbacks, was one of the defining features of his career. Even when his best days seemed behind him, he remained a potent force on the ATP Tour, proving that hard work and grit were just as important as natural talent. It wasn't about how many times he fell, it was about how many times he got back up. After retiring from professional tennis in the early 2000s, Jim Courier didn't disappear from the tennis world. Instead, he became one of the most respected voices in tennis as a broadcaster, sharing his insights and experiences with fans. Courier's love for the game never waned, and he remained closely involved with tennis, serving as the captain of the US Davis Cup team for several years, further cementing his place in tennis history. Courier's post-retirement career is a testament to his loyalty to the sport that made him a champion. His blue-collar roots remained with him long after he left the professional circuit, a symbol of the hard-working athlete who built his career with his own two hands. He's also been an advocate for the next generation of players, sharing the lessons he learned from his own journey. Jim Courier may not have had the glamorous personality or the natural grace of some of his contemporaries, but his legacy is built on the values that many can relate to: hard work, perseverance, and a relentless drive to succeed. His story is one of the ultimate underdog triumphs, of a young man from a modest background who rose to the top through sheer willpower. Courier's influence on the sport is undeniable. He proved that you don't need to be born with silver spoons or a natural gift to reach the top. What you need is a work ethic that won't quit. From his Grand Slam triumphs to his resilience in the face of adversity, Jim Courier remains a model for players in all sports. His legacy is a lasting reminder that champions aren't just born. They are made through dedication, sacrifice, and the will to fight for everything they achieve. Jim Courier's journey to the top of tennis wasn't just a story of skill. It was a story of grit, determination, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. The blue-collar champion didn't just fight for victory on the court. He fought for respect, recognition, and a place among the tennis elite. His legacy is proof that champions are made through hard work and resilience, and that even in a sport defined by privilege, the ultimate prize goes to those who never stop fighting. What do you think? Was it Jim Courier's work ethic and determination that set him apart? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story of the blue-collar champion, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.